Hello, beautiful learners. Welcome back to English Passage, where English is not just taught, it's told through stories. If you're new here, let me welcome you with open arms to a place where language comes alive, where grammar isn't a rule book but a rhythm, and where learning feels like listening to a friend. You are now on day 13 of our learning series, and let me say, the very fact that you've made it this far means you are serious about improving your English. I respect that. I honor that. And I'm excited to help you strengthen your sentence building skills today. English is a beautiful language. It can be poetic and powerful, expressive and elegant. But at its heart, it follows simple and consistent patterns. Patterns that, once mastered, unlock fluency. One of the most fundamental of these is the subject plus verb plus object structure, the skeleton upon which countless English sentences are built. Understanding this structure is like finding the key to 1,000 doors. And today, you're going to hold that key. We often think fluency is about speed, about big words, or complex ideas. But actually, fluency begins with clarity. It starts with being able to form clear, complete sentences. Once you can do that effortlessly, you can start adding colors, depth, and emotion. But your first brushstroke is this: a subject, a verb, and an object. Theoretical explanation. Let's now take a deeper and more thoughtful look at the theory behind this essential sentence structure. In the vast world of language learning, structure is like a map. It guides us, orients us, and ensures that the journey from thought to expression is smooth and accurate. Without structure, we may have ideas, but we lack the means to convey them clearly. This is where the subject plus verb plus object framework becomes incredibly important. It is the backbone of English communication, the pathway that connects your thoughts to your listener's understanding. Let's explore each component of this structure in more meaningful depth. Subject. This is the central figure in your sentence. It is the doer of the action or the topic being described. The subject brings context. It answers the question, who or what are we talking about? It could be a person, like John, a group, like the children, an idea, like freedom, or even something abstract, like hope. In many languages, the subject can sometimes be omitted because it is implied, but in English, stating the subject is usually essential for clarity. 1. Verb. The verb brings life to the sentence. It tells us what action is taking place or what state the subject is in. It's the engine that drives the sentence forward. Verbs are more than movements. They express being, feeling, doing, having, and changing. Consider the difference between she runs, he is happy, or they have ideas. Each sentence centers on a verb that communicates something vital about the subject. Object. The object receives the action. It is what the action is being done to. If the subject is the actor and the verb is the performance, then the object is the recipient of that performance. The object helps complete the meaning of the sentence. It adds depth and finality. For example, in she reads a book, the sentence would feel incomplete without knowing what she reads. A book completes the thought. Imagine building a bridge. The subject is the starting point, the verb is the span, and the object is the end point. Without one of these, the message collapses. This structure gives balance and flow to communication. What makes this structure particularly valuable in English is its consistency. Unlike some other languages where word order can be flexible or dependent on case markings, English relies heavily on the fixed order of subject plus verb plus object. This order determines the meaning of the sentence. The cat chased the dog does not mean the same as the dog chased the cat. The order alone changes the entire picture. Learning this pattern helps you express your thoughts without hesitation. It allows your mind to build sentences on demand, quickly and naturally. This fluency is what turns theory into practical, everyday use. By training your brain to think in this SVO order, you begin to construct sentences more effortlessly and avoid common grammar mistakes. Eventually, this structure becomes second nature. You no longer pause to think about grammar. Instead, your ideas flow into well-formed sentences. That is the real power of understanding this theory, transforming your English learning journey from memorizing rules to developing lifelong habits of clarity and expression. Why is this structure important? Now that we've examined the theory, let's talk about why the subject plus verb plus object structure is so important for you as an English learner. First, it brings order to your thoughts. When you use this structure, your ideas have a clear path. This makes your sentences easier to understand, and not only for others, but also for yourself. Second, it builds confidence. Many learners hesitate when speaking because they are unsure how to start or finish a sentence. With the SVO framework, you always know the basic shape. You can always fall back on it. Third, it's the foundation of nearly every sentence you'll use in daily life. Whether you're giving instructions, describing your day, or telling a story, the subject plus verb plus object pattern is silently working behind the scenes. Finally, learning through stories, like we do on English Passage, allows the structure to sink in naturally. As you hear characters acting, feeling, reacting, and doing things to others or the world, you hear this pattern repeated again and again. Over time, your brain adopts it without effort. Story with teaching interludes title, A Day in Lily's Life. Let's now immerse ourselves in a story, a simple tale of a young girl named Lily. As you listen, focus on how the subject plus verb plus object structure appears in almost every sentence. Lily wakes up early in the morning. She brushes her teeth. She makes breakfast for her family. Then, she reads a story to her little brother. She walks to school and meets her best friend. They study English together. Their teacher gives them homework. At lunch, Lily eats a sandwich. She tells a joke. Her friends laugh. After school, she helps her mother cook dinner. Her father brings a new book. She reads it happily. Let's slow down and reflect on the structure. Lily, the subject, is consistently performing actions. Wakes, brushes, makes, reads. And each verb is followed by an object. Her teeth, breakfast, a story. This repetitive, rhythmic structure isn't just stylistic, it's intentional. It solidifies grammar through storytelling. It's how children learn their first language. And it's how you, too, can grow in English, not through memorizing rules, but through feeling the flow of language. Now it's your turn. Let's put this structure into practice. I will say a sentence slowly. Repeat after me. Then think, who is the subject? What is the verb? What is the object? Let's begin. I eat breakfast. You write letters. She opens the door. They play football. You may not realize it, but each of these sentences is complete. Each has power. You can express hundreds of ideas by simply changing the subject, verb, or object. Practice these aloud. Practice them with different subjects. Say them in the mirror. And most importantly, listen for them in everyday English. Here's a powerful learning secret. Don't chase complexity too early. It's tempting to try to sound impressive, but mastery begins with simplicity. Master the basics first. Subject, verb, object, and everything else will fall into place naturally. Once you are fluent in SVO, you can add time expressions. She eats lunch at noon. You can add description. She eats a delicious lunch. You can even add emotion. She eats lunch joyfully. But always begin with the core. Begin with strength. And that brings us to the end of day 13. What a journey! Today, you didn't just learn a structure, you experienced it. You heard it in theory, you listened to it in story, and you practiced it in your own voice. Remember, English fluency doesn't come from rushing. It comes from rhythm, from repetition, from the quiet discipline of doing the same right thing every day until it becomes part of you. So, keep listening to stories. Keep noticing the structure. Keep forming your own sentences. Write them. Speak them. Share them. If this video helped you, I'd love for you to subscribe and leave a comment with your own SVO sentence. Let's make this a community of learners growing together. This is English Passage, where English becomes a story you can live in. Until next time, keep learning, keep listening, and above all, keep believing in yourself. Bye for now. Thank you for learning with me. Jai Hind. Vande Matram.